This footage is from the creator beta server. Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Hoyo. I appreciate it. Are you tired of not having any viable A-rank teams? Are you tired of every character's best team being Nicole Astra? Are you tired of being recommended that you can use A-rank and B as a free-to-play option? Are you tired of life? I am. This is Pulchra. Pulchra is an A-rank physical stun agent who specializes in quick swap gameplay. In this way, Pulchra is essentially comparable with Caesar. If you're not familiar with Caesar, Caesar is a defense stun agent who does their daze damage through defensive assists. Pulchra's daze is essentially handled in a very similar way, where it is primarily loaded into her evasive assist and EX special attacks. And after assisting onto Pulchra, or assisting with Pulchra, agents will deal additional damage and get a buff. This buff is not as much as Caesar, but she's an A-rank. And Pulchra actually does do more damage than Caesar, so it doesn't really even out, but hey, let's go with it. She achieves this through a mechanic called Hunter's Gate. Hunter's Gate is a state that Pulchra will enter after an evasive assist follow-up, EX special attack, chain attack, or ultimate attack. You will know when Pulchra has entered the state because if you look at the UI under the HP bar, you can see little charges for Pulchra. These are her Rending Claw aftershock attacks. To essentially start consuming Pulchra's charges, you need to use a heavy special or EX special attack. After you do this, Pulchra will continuously proc her aftershock attacks for the charges that she has. After Pulchra has launched an aftershock attack on an enemy, that enemy will take an additional 30 damage bonus for 15 seconds from the last attack. Prior to M6, this 30 damage bonus is only for aftershock attacks. However, if you do have Pulchra M6, this 30 damage bonus applies to all damage types, making Pulchra somewhat universal. As universal as a phys stun agent can be. All in all, let's break this down real quick. Is 30 damage bonus the most in the world? No, but she does do some damage, and she is an A rank. The fact is, she does daze damage, and she gives you 30, technically 45 damage bonus, because you're going to use a supportive set on her. This alone makes Pulchra a compelling free-to-play option. Air quotes counter. Maybe we do an air quotes counter. This alone makes Pulchra a compelling free-to-play option. I am 100% advocating for using Pulchra over A-rank and B. Honestly, even if your Pulchra's not M6, it's probably still better than A-rank and B. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Pulchra is honestly great and really not getting as much credit as she deserves. This is primarily since they made the change to her M6 to allow it to buff all damage types, but she's still useful anyway, especially for Soldier Zero and B. I have been playing Pulchra with Soldier Zero and B for a couple days now, and I have to say, I like her. I do not think Pulchra is incredible, but she's better than she has any right to be for being free. How is this free? You won't believe this free-to-play agent. Oh my god, free-to-play agent changes everything. Zenlesszonezero will never be the same again. Yeah, Pulchra's really fun. She is similar to Caesar. She plays very similarly to Caesar. There are some annoyances with Pulchra, which is her Hunter's Gate state ends as soon as you swap into her. So if you have charges and then swap into Pulchra, those charges become wasted. That is the most annoying thing about Pulchra. Something else that can happen is sometimes you'll fight enemies that aren't so aggressive and you'll be awkwardly waiting for Pulchra to do anything and you may never get the opportunity. That is skill issue, but it does happen. It exists. Get over it. The other thing about Pulchra is while you can build her for personal damage and should build her for personal damage, it isn't overwhelmingly important to optimize to the point where you may use the damage increasing set on her, or you can use a set like Astro Voice or Protopunk, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, let's just set the mood a little bit. Let's show a clip from a Soldier Zero Andy clear featuring Pulchra Astra.
Together you will be alone. Come on. Okay.
Something you can do to optimize your Pulchra and Soldier Zero gameplay is this thing called a DP, or dodge parry. This is easier on higher frame rates. Essentially, you are doing a dodge counter and switching in the same frame within a couple frames to do both a dodge counter and a evasive assist / defensive assist. This is a useful tech. It is not necessary, but it is something you can try to learn. It's really easy to tell when Pulchra starts doing her aftershock attacks because you see text on the screen that says, "Fire!" Like you're playing Soldier 11, except you're playing Soldier Zero. Big difference there. So yeah, I have been having fun with Pulchra. Do I think Pulchra is the best option for Soldier Zero? Not always, but I do think she's competitive. I honestly found Pulchra competitive with a bunch of agents, assuming you have M6. There are 2 A ranks per banner. There are now 11 A ranks in the game. You're getting 1 copy of Pulchra for free. Even if you don't get Pulchra M6 on this banner, you will have Pulchra M6 in a couple of months as long as you keep pulling. She may even enter the shop rotation. I'm not sure about that, but it can happen. Seth did. So yes, while it may not be reasonable to expect people to have Pulchra M6 on the first banner, it is reasonable for people to have M6 Pulchra within the year, even within 6 months, in my opinion. Okay, look, shoot the messenger. I don't think it's that big of a deal, just because of how few A ranks there are. If there were more, then I would be much more concerned about availability, but the game is not currently in that state, so it's not a present concern. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna try to do more Zenless content. More Genshin content is coming. Did you know most of you watching are not currently subscribed? You should subscribe. If you are looking to maximize your Pulchra performance, your pretty Pulchra performance, pretty pink Pulchra performance. Pulchra Piper, pull the peck of pickled peppers. Yeah, if you're looking to optimize your Pulchra performance, you may want to look into gearing more so than gameplay. Essentially, Pulchra is an aftershock character. She can do damage. So if you're looking to optimize her damage, you're going to use Box Cutter, which is the signature A rank engine, which is only available on engine banners right now, or will be available on the engine banner at the time of release. You can use Box Cutter, which will be available on the engine banner at the time of release, and Shadow Harmony as a drive disc set. Shadow Harmony is always going to be somewhat competitive on Pulchra, but depending on teammates, you may find it better to use a supportive set. What do I mean by a supportive set? I mean Protopunk. Protopunk is a set that gives you 15 damage bonus after doing a perfect assist, which means an evasive or defensive assist. So this is support capability that Pulchra can essentially utilize. Pulchra's attacks also all trigger reverse quick assist, much like Seth. So you can actually use Astral Voice on Pulchra. This is assuming you aren't playing with Astra though. So let's say we're playing Lucy Pulchra. We can use Astral Voice on Lucy or Pulchra and Protopunk on the other. In this situation, it technically doesn't matter which one is which. Yeah, you can optimize your buffs that way, which can be better, or generally is better, than getting damage out of Pulchra, because the DPS that you're playing with, let's say Soldier Zero, can do so much more damage than Pulchra that the 15 damage bonus, while it does also apply to Pulchra, is more advantageous on the DPS. Along those lines, let's also talk about days. The highest days engine options are Blazing Laurel, the Fossil Core, Hellfire Gears, and the Steam Oven. Some of those options are not far from Box Cutter in terms of days, but the highest possible days damage you can get from Pulchra is technically Blazing Laurel, the lighter engine. As funny as this sounds, the engine gives 25% impact on Quick Assist or Perfect Assist, which is Evasive Assist follow-up, or Evasive Assist. So Blazing Laurel technically is the highest impact you can have on Pulchra, which makes it good ignoring the passive, or ignoring the buff part entirely. The Fire and Ice crit damage just aren't relevant. Pulchra can't activate it anyway. It's just good for impact, which is interesting. But yeah, Box Cutter is technically quite good as well. Let's talk about performance. We're on the content creator server. This is what you want to see. This is what I want to talk about. Let's talk about performance, okay? In Deadly Assault, because there is no Fizz Weak boss, you will essentially always be getting 3 stuns with Pulchra. This means you are getting 1 or 0 more stuns than double support, so let's say Nicole Astra, depending on weakness, enemy days HP, and I guess gearing. Generally, it'll be 1 more stun though. Will be favorable to Pulchra. So when you are doing 3 stuns with Pulchra and 2 stuns with Nicole, they are somewhat competitive. I did have Nicole Astra pretty consistently outperforming Pulchra Astra, but it's pretty close. And there were some times where it was very similar. It was also very similar in Shiyu Defense. I do think Pulchra would be a lot more compelling if there were more Fizz Weak challenges. There is a new enemy in Shiyu Defense who is physical weak and does reward you for doing perfect assists, and Pulchra is great there. It's really like the highlight of Pulchra performance, where she's competing with Caesar, she's doing pretty nice, you're getting a lot of attacks off of her, it's cool. But yes, I do want to talk about, while it may be generally worse than Nicole Astra, Nicole's a pretty in-demand support, and technically so is Astra. Technically, so is Astra, he says, ironically. Yeah, Pulchra being able to free up a support for other teams in Deadly Assault is great. You need 3 teams, even if it's slightly worse, it's still better than terrible in comparison, which is what a lot of these options traditionally are. I also consistently had Pulchra outperforming Agent Ching Yi in Deadly Assault. It really wasn't even close. In Shiyu Defense, Pulchra struggles a lot from not being able to quickly stun enemies in first waves. Pulchra Astra also really struggles with not having any grouping, since Ambi can have somewhat small AoE compared to more recent agents. Ambi is also a member of Obel Squad, meaning her chain attack is very small and can miss groups of enemies quite frequently. She's got that real Obel Squad charm. Classic. But yeah, because Pulchra's M6 frees up all of her team options, Pulchra can technically be played with any agent, as long as they appreciate days, which is essentially every agent. and a small buff. Because of that, Pulchra's a really good generic support or stun agent. She is much better than A rank Anby or Kaleda in most cases. I do need to mention that Evelyn has difficulty activating Pulchra's aftershock attacks because it needs a heavy special attack, not a special attack. It's pretty awkward to get Evelyn to trigger Pulchra's attacks. I've actually been playing Nekomata, which is wild, but I saw this as a chance. I'm gonna play the double cat girl team is what I told myself, and you know what? It's okay. I was able to 3-star a neutral stage in Deadly Assault with Nekomata and Pulchra with Astrala. This is Neko M1 for the record. I also was playing Neko in CU Defense, and it was all right. I don't have many complaints. I don't have a ton positive to say, but it's the double cat girl team. Are you truly a cat girl connoisseur if you aren't playing double cat girl? There's also the elephant in the room about Pulchra being a physical agent. Physical struggles a lot because of a lack of physical weak boss encounters. At least there's a new Shiyu enemy that is physical weak, and he can be quite aggressive or quite difficult. And I hope we continue to get Fizz content because I really like a Fizz weak Deadly Assault boss. I'm tired of pointing out that physical agents are currently underperforming because of a lack of content. Well, give them some content. When we start to see more of that content, I can see Pulchra being a real staple of not just new player accounts in general. I think Pulchra's great. And yes, you can play her with non-physical agents. But because of the physical attribute match, I wanted to specifically test Fizz agents. So I've played Jane, I've played Neko. Outside of the physical agents, things that you would recommend are very clearly Soldier 0. But besides the obvious, you can play her with Soldier 11, you can play her with Ellen, play her with Zien, you can play her with Haramasa. And all around, it's solid. Really just solid. She's pretty chill. Ooh. I like Pulchra a lot more than I expected to. Those are the core concepts and my first impression for Pulchra. Here at the end of the video, why don't we do a showcase? And yeah, you can just check out the gameplay, see what it looks like, see if you like it. The Soldier 0 guide is coming up soon, but I hope you enjoy Pulchra.
For us to live. Sister, brother, look at my heart. Believes the hammer, break the trigger. We don't need a leader, all the ones fun. We are all together, much more stronger. We will rock where we get stone. From block to bone, I bet you know. Working hard all day long. We are all together, you will be alone.